Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. In this one, I wanted to talk a little bit about Rich Cimini's article that he posted a couple days ago about Robert Saleh. It was kind of about the whole receipts comment and everything like that. And funny enough, it was actually before the Cleveland Browns game, and Richard Sherman weighed in, right? He dished out his thoughts on Saleh about the future of the New York Jets, and I found a couple of the comments pretty interesting. The first quote was, "I don't bet against Robert Saleh. I wouldn't bet against him ever. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care where the chips are falling. I don't care what the odds are, because I know the kind of human being he is. I know he's going to fight." First and foremost, I mean, that just gets me fired up as a Jet fan to hear a guy in Richard Sherman who doesn't necessarily have to say that. He's been outspoken throughout the course of his career. I think if he did not like Saleh, if he didn't believe the things that he was saying, he wouldn't have said it, or he might have said the opposite. You take a look at Richard Sherman's career. Funny enough, I actually had a buddy live in Florida when I was a kid, and then he ended up having to move to Seattle. During his high school years, he ended up coming back to South Florida after, and, when we linked up, we'd always have these debates and arguments, who is the best cornerback in football, Darrelle Revis or Richard Sherman, because he ended up becoming a Seahawks fan, but it's beside the point. You look at Richard Sherman, he was a bona fide superstar. Robert Saleh was actually with Richard Sherman for a good portion of his career, back in Seattle for a little bit, and then of course in San Fran. And then once Sherman and the Seahawks decided to go their separate ways, Saleh being in San Fran, running that defense, and Sherman obviously having familiarity with that defense, I mean, he was a big reason why Richard opted to go to San Francisco in the first place, okay? So, to hear words like that coming from arguably a future Hall of Famer here, a Super Bowl champion, a player that at one time was absolutely elite at his position, it just makes you feel good. When the question came up about Robert Saleh's positivity, that's actually been one of the things that a lot of Jets fans have noticed in his press conferences and everything like that. He's always saying that he's an eternal optimist and everything, but he's constantly pushing, positive vibes only. We're not going to point the finger and, deflect the blame. It's all good vibes over in Florham Park. When he was asked about that, Sherman said that that's the best coaching philosophy to have, I think, at least from the coaches that I've dealt with. There's enough negativity in the world, enough people telling you you suck. You're not going to be able to do it. You can't do it. You need somebody, even when the chips are against you, to show you, hey, there is a way to get out of this. You can do it. You can get out of this hole. If he can get this team to match his commitment, it's going to work out for him. I have total belief in that. Now, something that's been really cool, kind of a full circle moment, is the fact that, again, Sherman made these comments before the Cleveland Browns game, and there's been a lot of talking from Joe Douglas, there's been a lot of talking from Robert Saleh, this coaching staff, a ton of hype, a ton of people buying in, whether you want to talk about, draft analysts, guys like Daniel Jeremiah, Dan Orlovsky, a lot of people believe in Zach Wilson, Chris Sims is another guy. There's a lot of people buying into this Jets team, but the results haven't really been there, right? The overall wins, they just they're few and far between, especially when we take a look at last season as well. But to see how this team responded after the receipts comment, right? After, I'm going to say, getting humiliated against the Ravens. I mean, the offense just looked completely anemic. Things needed to change, and they did. So are you buying into Richard Sherman's comments here? I mean, for me at least, I think it's super intriguing. Richard Sherman knows Saleh better than most people. And of course, you can make the argument, hey, they're probably tight. They're probably friends. They have a really good relationship, obviously. Maybe he's just backing up his guy. But, with that said, hey, the Jets won 31-30 against the Cleveland Browns. A big reason why, really the main reason why this team won, is because they played until the clock hit zero. You can't say that about the Browns. I think in a lot of ways, the Browns did a lot of really good things. Running the ball effectively, protecting Jacoby Brissett. I thought Brissett looked really good. You had superstars stepping up, Myles Garrett, Amari Cooper, these guys, Johnson at safety. There were a lot of playmakers making plays for the Browns, but it really felt like the Browns lost that game in the last minute and 30 seconds. They got caught sleeping a couple times. They were confused on the back end of the defense on that Flacco, Corey Davis bomb. The point is, the Jets didn't give up in the game, and I cannot wait for week 3, right? Cincinnati Bengals next week. AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. They were in the Super Bowl last season. This is a big, big test. By the way, they're 0-2. So they're going to be coming in hungry, right? They're not going to be, it is what it is. It's just one game. It's a long season. I think this Bengals team is desperately they're desperately searching for a win. It's a big test. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.